I recently heard that if you're planning to buy an E60 or E61 but don't plan on doing your own repairs, you're not buying that car for yourself, you're buying it for your mechanic. In this video, I'll tell you if that's true and whether it's actually still worth buying a car that's a little over 20 years old. I'll also show you what you're going to need if you decide to pull the trigger. Make sure to watch this episode. In this video, I'll walk you through the biggest pros of this model that make it stand out from the crowd. And there are quite a few, as well as the cons. Like any car, this BMW has its dark side, and you really need to know about it. Once you do, all that's left is pure driving satisfaction without getting frustrated daily by surprises. You've probably heard the legends about these bulletproof, tuning-friendly inline engines that tempt buyers with exceptional reliability. The legendary M57 diesels and N52 or M54 petrol engines offer incredible smoothness, durability, and massive power potential. They can genuinely rack up nearly 1 million kilometers without major failures, to the point where once the body rots away, the engine gets pulled and swapped into another chassis. Is that true? Yes. Does every engine reach that mileage? Unfortunately not. It all depends on how previous owners treated it, how often the oil was changed, and whether it was ever overheated, by a failed cooling system, for instance. High temps are one of the few things that can kill any car, even an indestructible one. If those two issues were properly managed, there's nothing stopping you from putting on more miles and enjoying every bit of power this engine can dish out, especially in the winter. And I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. After all, alongside the xDrive options, you've got rear-wheel drive here. That's definitely a major plus for these machines. But like I mentioned, sometimes the engine outlasts the body. Time has shown that age is rust's best friend. The whole underside of the car has protective covers, or at least it should, but even on units that have had them on since new, rust can still creep into various nooks and crannies. In some cases, it might even be too late to save. Take a look at the state of these brake lines that were hidden beneath the floorboards all along. Now that's not a deal breaker on its own, since you can simply replace them. The same goes for the diff or suspension components. In my case, some of them had to be cut off because they couldn't even be unbolted during a wheel alignment. On top of that, the tailgate is prone to rusting around the corners, though that doesn't affect the drive at all. All of these parts can be unbolted, replaced, sandblasted, and rust-proofed. But what's most critical is the condition of the chassis itself, because that's something you can't fix so easily. Advanced corrosion can easily send your machine straight to the scrapyard, and that's definitely one of the biggest drawbacks. Inside, though, this car is a seriously comfortable cruiser. Everything feels remarkably well put together, solid, heavy, and high quality. This interior, with its real genuine leather and wood trim, is 22 years old now, and it shows almost no signs of wear. It's great to sit in and feels incredible to drive. Comparing this level of comfort to a few other cars I've owned before, I genuinely feel at home inside this cabin. I'm not just saying that because I run a BMW channel, I mean it. And my friends have the exact same reaction the first time they take a ride in it. By the way, if you'd like to take it for a spin too, please leave a like or a comment. That really helps grow the channel. Thank you. When it comes to interior drawbacks, it's pretty common to run into a dead CCC unit where the screen gets stuck on the boot loop. The most common causes are cold solder joints or a flooded module in the trunk. Alternatively, you can swap the whole unit for a newer Android model. On top of that, the panoramic sunroof is notorious for jamming, and when it does, you just pray you're lucky enough that it's stuck in the closed position so the rain stays outside. But well, all these components require servicing once in a while. They wear out just like any other part, and without maintenance, things can go sideways whether it's a Mercedes or a BMW. At the end of the day, 20-year-old cars aren't going to function like they just rolled off the showroom floor. Sometimes, for more specialized jobs like bleeding the ABS pump or clearing an airbag warning light, you'll need access to a proper diagnostic computer. The good news, though, is that the vast majority of stuff can be handled using those small portable OBD interfaces that pair with the phone app. You can pick one up for just a few $dozen. And honestly, that's all I relied on myself for a really long time. How does the car actually drive? In my book, the handling is excellent. Despite its weight, the car picks up speed effortlessly. On the highway, it feels like a true road cruiser, stable and safe. And of course, these engines are definitely not short on power. Plus, you can tune them to squeeze out even more. As for fuel consumption, in a 3-liter diesel running mixed driving with mostly highway miles, I'm averaging around 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers, and honestly, I expected it to be higher. On top of that, even during dynamic driving through tight corners or over bumps, the air suspension does a fantastic job, making every drive incredibly satisfying. All of that, however, comes with a big caveat. The suspension needs to be kept in good shape, and the brake rotors and pads have to be high quality or OE. Due to the car's heavy weight, a lot of aftermarket replacements simply don't cut it. They work fine for 1,000 kilometers, but then the heat generated from braking warps them, causing steering wheel wobble, clunking, and overall terrible performance. Which brings us to a crucial point: this car absolutely hates aftermarket parts. Unless we're talking about small cosmetics or minor bits that don't affect performance, like dust shields, which are just simple sheets of metal, everything else needs to be ordered OE. Time and time again, whether fixing a stuck main thermostat, a leaking water pump, a cracked water flange, or replacing gaskets, whenever I tried using an aftermarket part, even from a reputable, supposedly high-quality brand, I always ended up having to go back in and redo the job sooner or later. Someone once told me that this BMW hates aftermarket parts, and back then I thought it was an exaggeration. It really isn't. When repairing anything critical, keep in mind that genuine main dealer parts cost more, but in return, you get the quality that guarantees long-term reliability. A job done right using original parts, according to proper repair procedures, means total peace of mind for years or even decades to come. Why is that so important? Given its age, you're going to have quite a few repairs lined up, and it's not because the car is bad or fundamentally flawed. It's simply that the age of certain components, especially gaskets and seals, means something will inevitably pop up every few months. If you owned any other car this age, the story would be exactly the same. That's why staying on top of scheduled maintenance is key. It keeps you from facing 3 brand new failures on top of 2 old ones you already worked on that failed again because of cheap aftermarket parts. That's the reality. For better or worse. For worse, because these repairs are a constant presence with something new popping up to tackle every single year. I can guarantee you that. For better, because you can do almost all of it yourself right in your home garage, using a basic tool set expanded with a few specialized sockets and extra small tools. That's actually how my YouTube career started. I had zero background in automotive work, but I bought myself an old BMW and started fixing it up in my garage, learning something new every single weekend until I eventually built up enough content to share it with the world. Whenever I lacked a specific tool, I slowly built up my setup, ordered the parts, and spent my evenings digging into pretty much every corner of this car, as you can see across my other videos. I bought a heavily neglected car, so right off the bat, the list of repairs to be done was massive. In my case, though, I actually enjoy taking on these kinds of jobs. So if you're not afraid to get your hands dirty either, I think this is going to be a great car for you. However, if you're planning to have every single repair done by someone else, buying an old BMW probably isn't for you. It's going to cost a fortune and quickly exceed the value of the car itself. That said, I truly believe anyone who decides to buy one right now puts in the time to take care of it and really does so with passion rather than just doing quick hacks to keep it moving. We'll end up with a car that becomes a genuine future classic, making every single hour invested well worth it. Right now, we're at a point where these models are everywhere, and they're cheap. But for how long? It's hard to say. The only certainty is that in a few, maybe a dozen years, the surviving examples that are clean and kept on genuine parts will be extremely rare. How much will those gems be worth then? Time will tell. Maybe this video will age nicely and people can compare the prices in the comments 10 years from now. Because right now, you can pick up a well-maintained E60 or E61 for around 3,000 euros. If you made it this far, check out my video on the top 7 most common reasons cars end up in the scrapyard and save your car from getting crushed. Take care.